This week, Will Smith and Kevin Kline blaze through the wild, wild west.
And rocker Rye Cooter heads a tour of Cuban musicians in the Buena Vista Social Club.
And America and Canada go to war in South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Gordon, I think you need to calm down.
I can't be calm. No. I'm the master of the mechanical stuff, and I have to help you. You, the master of the stupid stuff.
Will Smith and Kevin Kline are federal agents on the trail of a madman in Wild Wild West, one of 5 new movies we're going to review this week. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, and across the aisle from me is this week's guest critic.
I'm Wesley Morris, film critic for the San Francisco Examiner, and thanks for having me here, Roger.
Thanks for being here. Welcome aboard. Okay, first movie, and it's a mess. Wild Wild West is a tortured attempt at comedy that falls flat in scene after scene, leaving his 2 stars stranded in material that seems pounded into the screenplay with a mallet. Will Smith and Kevin Kline star as a couple of federal agents assigned by President U.S. Grant, also played by Kline, to solve the disappearance of a lot of scientists. The trail leads out west where Kline perfects his art of disguise.
You look nasty, just butt ugly. I mean, your breasts were hard and stiff and sticking out like a couple of rusty cannons on a sunken ship. These breasts are a work of art.
The two are joined by Salma Hayek, who is searching for her scientist father, and they head west in a train that Kline has rigged with a lot of goofy inventions.
Well, see if your aggressor invention works. We need a plan. Push the button. Very good.
They encounter a mad villain played by Kenneth Branagh, who has constructed engines of war that would look more at home in Star Wars.
Well, now, isn't this a coincidence? I'm out for a little morning ride, and right in the middle of nowhere, I bump into General Ulysses S. Grant himself. We've never been properly introduced. I'm Dr. Arliss Lovelace, formerly of the Confederate Army.
Here's another strange scene in which the heroes have been bolted into magnetic collars that are supposed to attract flying guillotine blades.
Gordon, leap into my arms. No.
I don't know if you could sense it in those scenes, but there's zero chemistry between Will Smith and Kevin Kline. In fact, none of the actors seem to really be inhabiting this movie. They all project the air of wishing desperately that they were elsewhere. A fortune was spent on the special effects of Wild Wild West, but no one seems to have taken a step back and observed that, hey, the screenplay stinks. This is an astonishingly bad movie.
Well, Roger, I don't know if you noticed this either, but the screenplay seems to be planted in Kevin Kline's head. Oh. I mean, he seems to sort of know everything that's happening at all points, and he can get from one place to the next. And
yeah, he had his little rail car was all jury-rigged so that no matter what anybody did, his invention was ready for them. Which
well, one of the other things you didn't mention, though,
strange.
In your review, was that Will Smith and the whole slave thing, and that's an actual plot point where he's trying to find out who killed his parents, I guess. It's sort of set around this entire sort of post-slavery thing where he can't go anywhere without someone giving him a hard time because he's black. And how he sort of got to become Jim West, this lawman, isn't really explained at all. But I mean, he's like the visible man.
It was all just plot points. It was first he's a federal agent, but then also he has this backstory, which I thought was a little too serious to be dignified in a comedy of this sort.
It's
and then there are all these racial comments and so-called jokes leading up actually to a lynch mob scene that aren't funny at all. They just make you want to cringe.
Well, they're cringeworthy only because in the context of all the psychaggery, it sort of takes this serious subject and makes fun of it without sort of giving you the background information you need. I think it sort of finds Will Smith in a really interesting position, too, constantly having to sort of, the bigger he gets, he hasn't changed at all, but he's sort of been required more to sort of explain that he's black without the script having to explain it to us.
That's a good point.
Anyway, our next